Hi everybody, welcome to today's redo of last night's webinar. We're going to quickly walk through creating a website that this is going to go beyond the requirements of the web shell, but it'll address everything that's required in that. You don't have to be as detailed and have as much content. It doesn't have to be as focused as this, but this is just a quick, good demo of what's required for that. As I mentioned last night, this is a sort of a bad way of doing web design, but it's a nice way to approach it and kind of a nice scaffolding technique. We're going to use tables today. In the future, we're going to use something called divs and cascading style sheets. We're going to use a couple styles today, but not really the style sheets feature, which has a number of additional benefits, which we'll get into next week. So I did sort of mention storyboarding out what you want to do. I drew this out on paper, but this is essentially what the website's going to look like. We have a banner up here. I'm going to delete this. We're going to kind of create this from scratch in a moment. I have three links, a pro link, a home link, and a con link. I could put those whatever order I wanted. Then I have a little bit of text here that might be descriptive. I was going to play around and put a lot of different things here, but I'm just going to use lorem ipsum for today for time's sake. Then I have a large image here. I might change the size of that a bit, we'll see. And then a footer down here at the bottom with a LinkedIn, Facebook link, and then my name and a link to my email address and a link to a non-web file or a PDF, and then the last updated option here. Then I'm just going to essentially redo this. I'm going to rename this page Pro and Con, which I'll talk about in a moment, and then modify the content based on that. So essentially I want to get the home page looking like I want everything to look, and then I'll go save it as index.html, but then I'll save it as pro.html and then modify the content in there, and then I'll save that as con.html and modify the content there. So it'll all make sense as we kind of go through this. So we're going to just get started from scratch, like I said. Last night I talked about collecting all of your content. So I have an EME6507 folder, which is going to be my root or my local site folder. And all of my sites are going to be in there. So for this course, I'm going to create two sites, maybe three. A web shell. So this one I'm named Hot Dog Debate. I could call it Shell. Let's do that. We'll just call it Shell or Hot Dog Shell. We'll leave it as Hot Dog Debate. I don't feel like messing around with canceling it out or closing stuff out right now. But I know I'm going to have an e-portfolio, so I'm going to just go ahead and do e-portfolio, and then I might have a multimedia project, so I'm going to just go ahead and do multimedia. I could change these names later, but I'm going to just leave them as they are now. Hot Dog Debate will be my shell. This could ultimately be my multimedia. I might not have a separate one, but I may. It just depends. So one thing that's really important is to go ahead and collect all of the materials you need for your site. So right now I have a number of images that I'm going to use in my site, and then I have this non-web file. And also organization is critical. So I might even go ahead here and maybe change this, maybe add a media folder if I was going to add a bunch of videos or something, or maybe I'll just call this miscellaneous. And maybe I'll put that non-web folder, non-web file, my CV, in miscellaneous. Just keeps things nice and organized. So now I have everything kind of set up the way I want. And now it's time to get connected to that local site folder. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to go to Site. I'm going to go to New Site. And I'm going to call this EME6507. And I'm going to select, let's just call this multimedia course, and then I'm going to go here and make 6507 my folder. Then I'm going to go to my server link and I'm going to add a server connection. And I did this last night, and I can call it EME6507 or whatever I want. I'm going to connect using FTP, which stands for File Transfer Protocol. And then the address is just rhartshorn.com. And then you're going to enter in your username that you use. I use poobah@rhartshorn.com. And then my password. Then I'm going to test it. And then I don't have to do anything else with that. It works successfully. So now I have a nice connection there. Do not put anything in the root directory. I know in the feedback it says root URL. Do not put anything in the root directory, and do not modify what's in the web URL. We just click save. Now I have this EME6507 folder. If I change my password or something later, I can go in and edit it by clicking on the pencil, or if I ultimately want to delete it, I can just delete the server connection there. So I save it, and okay, should be fine. Okay, so now I have the interface here, and I wanted to highlight the Files tab up here. And if I right now, all I have is a local view. If I go to my remote server, there's nothing there. Well, there is, because I did already delete it, did all this. So let me just go ahead and delete these and kind of start from scratch. So now my remote server has nothing because I haven't added anything to it. So I go back to my local view and I see ePortfolio. So if I wanted to kind of put this up on the web server, I could click on this connection, the little plug icon, select my multimedia course, the root folder, and then just click up. I'm not going to do it yet because I haven't added any content, but we'll look at that in a little bit. I could also, if I'm working on a different computer and maybe I make some changes to Hot Dog Debate, I could download that from whatever computer, so I can have it on my home computer or whatever computer I'm working on. So the Files tab here is really important. We're going to get into these later, but we're not going to mess with them too much tonight, so I can move it down here. The CC libraries we're not going to worry about too much right now. The insert is going to be really useful because it's going to be how we add content to our site. There are multiple ways in Dreamweaver to do things, so we can use insert or we can use these tabs up here. And then the CSS designer, we're not going to worry about too much tonight, but it will be a key aspect of our web design moving forward. So we are now kind of set up. So we're going to go ahead and just create it. We're going to start our website. So I'm going to create a new HTML page, and I want to go ahead and make sure right off the bat I give it a title. And this is what appears in the top of the browser window. Sometimes if you see something like untitled document or new page 1, that means they didn't give it a title. So we want to call it "Is a hot dog a sandwich?" And we'll just call this home. We're going to use HTML5. We're not going to attach any CSS right now, and we're just going to create this. So now I'm immediately going to go in and save it as File, Save As, and I'm going to save it in Hot Dog Debate. And I'm going to save it as index.html and save. And I'm just going to get to designing. So right off the bat, I know that I want that banner image, I want the 3 links, I want a main content area, and then I want a footer. So I'm going to insert a table. So I'm just going to go select table there. And I want 4 rows and 3 columns. And I'm going to make it 1200 pixels. I could make it a percentage of the screen. This means that like whenever it opens up in a browser, it makes the website that percentage of that browser window. But we're going to make it a set number here. And we're going to make the border thickness 0 because it's being used for design, the cell padding and the cell spacing 0. And we're just going to click OK. I'm going to go ahead, just drag this down a little bit, make it a little bigger, maybe. Maybe not. And I have my banner image here, and I don't need 3 cells for that. I just need 1. So I'm going to merge them. So I'm going to go to Edit, Table, and I'm going to go to Merge Cells. Now, real quickly, let me run through the interface. Your file is your basic new, open, save, import, export, all of that. Page properties is important, which we'll get to in a moment. My edit is when I'm going to edit anything. I'm going to undo my redo. I have my copy and paste, all that stuff. But if I want to edit a link, I can make a link. If I edit a table, I can select table, cells, split cells. I can insert rows, delete rows, insert columns, blah, blah, blah. An image, same thing. I can edit the size of the image. There are no images it's selected, so it's not going to allow me to do that. I can edit the code. I can play around with these other. Those are the main ones that I mess with. The view, if I want to go, there are 4 different views, which we'll look at in a moment. Now I'll kind of actually modify that, and I can look at some other items here, but really the big thing here is just changing the views, but I can do that right here as well. Insert, so here's my insert options, which are also over here. I prefer to use this, but sometimes I'll just go up here as well. It's super easy. I don't really use the tools very much, so nothing too much to worry about here. I don't really use find, but you can use find and replace. Site, this is where we're going to manage and edit any sites. We've already set that up, so hopefully we won't have to make any modifications, but you never know. And then window, really here is if I want to modify the look here, my workspace, then I'll go here. But the properties window, which is over here on the side, which you can't see, this is a huge friend of yours. So it allows you to modify anything. So anything you have selected, the properties of that item will come up here. So if I select this cell, you'll notice the cell here, it says my horizontal and default, or my horizontal and vertical alignment. The default horizontal is going to be left justified, vertical is going to be center. The width and height of the cell, I can wrap, I can change the background color of only that cell. I can change the font that's in that cell, etc. So really great, anytime, and then if I click here, it's giving me the whole table. So you can see it's giving me all the properties of the table. So this is a great way to modify content on your page. So real quickly, I did want to also talk about these 3 views. Code view, not a great view if you're new to web authoring, but if you're good at web authoring, have some experience, you can go in and modify stuff. So let's say, for example, I wanted to make the table 1,000 pixels. I could just click on that. And then I go back to design view and I see that it's made it smaller. So let me go back to code view, make it 1200. Darn it, keep doing that. You don't really need to know anything about that right now, but there is some basic code that we will want you to know and be able to kind of play around with. And design is kind of the core of Dreamweaver. It's your WYSIWYG, so what you see is what you get. So it's sort of like working in Word or something like that. And then split view I like because it allows me to modify the code at the same time. So here, for example, if I have these cells, I can modify these cells if I know HTML code. Anything I highlight, I can go in and modify. And we'll look at a couple examples of that later. But right now, I'm just going to use the design view. Also, the live view, very important. You can't really see the table because it's got 0 cells and no content. But the live view is what this would look like theoretically on the web. A little iffy, but theoretically what it would look like on the web. You cannot edit when you're in the live view. So if you're trying to make changes and you can't, it's probably because you're in live view. And if you go to design view, then you can go in and make your changes. So 13 minutes in and we haven't really added anything. So let's get to it. So I'm going to go to the edit, the table here, and I'm going to simply merge the cells. And I'm going to click in my cursor, my table here, and I'm going to add an image. I'm going to go into my images, and I'm going to click the banner image here. You can see here it's 1500 by 473. Notice that this is locked. So that right there means that if I modify this, whoops, it's unlocked, I'm sorry. So now it's locked. So if I modify this 1200, it's going to it's going to change the height based on those constraints. I'm going to just make it 1200 and I'm going to make it by 200. Just make it a little bit smaller. And then I'm going to go over here to the table and I'm just going to kind of drag it in and drag it. Let's see. Yeah, so this should be 1200. Okay, there we go. Then I'm going to go over here. So let me click on this real quickly. In my cell, I see it's linking to images/bannerimage.png, which is fine. Nothing big here, but I do want to make sure that I provide an alt label for this. And I'm just going to call this hot dog banner image. And all this means, this right here is for an accessibility issue, and when people are using screen readers and things, visually impaired, that tells them what the image is. So it's important to address your alt labels. It's a requirement for the assignment, and it is also good web design for accessibility purposes. So then I'm going to go here, and I'm going to do a little bit different. Home, and I'm going to call this con. I'm going to kind of play around with the widths here. Let me center them real quick. So I highlight those, go to the horizontal, center it. I don't like, let me try and make them close to the, okay, con is way over, so let me kind of, that's okay. So we'll go with this. And I'm going to highlight this text, and I'm going to change these to a different style, a different size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to make these, whoops, let me see, HTML. Format, I'm going to make them a header 2. But I don't like this look for the header 2, so I'm going to go to page properties. And this is where I can really get powerful and modify stuff. And so here, if I look at this, I can change the general appearance of my font. So I don't like that Times New Roman font. I'm going to go with the Lucida Grand. And I'm going to make the size, the size is going to be 12 or normal. I'm going to make the text color, the general text color, like a kind of just a dark gray, just give it a little bit different look. I'm going to change the background color for the site to sort of I'm going to make it kind of a yellowy color, a little bit different than what I did in the example. And I'm not going to do a background image. Background images are tough. I'm not going to worry about, oh, here we go. So I can change the appearance of the HTML, so text, visited links, active links. But I want to change the links in the CSS, so this applies to all links. So first I'm going to change the link font. It's just going to be it's same as the page font, so it would be the Lucida Grand. The link color, I'm going to make kind of a deep purple color. But then I want people, when they roll over it, I want them to see that it has an effect. So I'm just going to make it red. And I'm not going to worry about visited or active, and I'm going to never underline links because I make it stand out enough. So right now you'll see that this is Lucida Grand, big, heading 2. And it is not linked. It's not that purple color because we haven't made it a link yet. A couple other things in here, the title. So we want to make sure we have a title here, which we did when we created the thing, and then that's really it. But we can go in and modify all of these things pretty easily. So if I wanted to make heading 2 a little bit bigger, I could do that. If I wanted to change the color of heading 2, I could do that as well. So all right. So now we're going to get going with the content, and here this is going to be like one area, so I'm going to merge these as well. So it's just going to have one cell. I don't really need 3 cells for the content. I could, and that's fine. I could maybe have image, maybe even add a cell, have an image, and then text, and then another image and text. It's up to us. Let's hit a couple enters here, and then down here is my footer. I'm just going to go ahead and get that content going. Richard Hartshorn. I'm going to do email and then CV. And then you'll notice there when I hit enter, it gives me a double space. If I want a single space, I just hold shift and hit enter. And I'm going to put last updated January 26, 2024. I'm going to click in here and I'm going to add an image. Let's do my LinkedIn logo. And it's huge, so I'm going to click on it, and I'm going to make it 50 pixels. Okay, and then over here, I'm going to do the same thing, only I'm going to right justify, horizontal, right justify, and I'm going to make it, the image is going to be my Facebook logo. Click OK, and again, I'm going to make it 50 pixels. Okay, and that should come up, and yep, there we go. And I'm going to highlight this real quickly and center it. horizontal center, and we're good to go. I'm going to go here real quickly, and I'm going to add some text. So let me go to Google. I've done some lorem ipsum, so I'm just going to kind of go here and just kind of copy some lorem ipsum text. Control C, and I'm just going to paste that there. Whoops. Paste that there. I don't like the size of that, so I'm going to go into my page properties, and I'm going to change appearance of font, page font to let's see, to maybe a 12. Let's try that, see what that looks like. There we go. I like that a little bit better. Maybe give a little shift space here for a little bit of spacing. And then I'm just going to go and insert an image. And this main home image, click there. Maybe make it smaller. Let's make it 600 by 359. And then I'm going to go, is a hot dog a sandwich infographic. Okay, and I can now here, this is one where it gets a little tricky because I don't want this text to be centered, but I want the image to be centered. So what I can do is I can select the image, go to split, and then before the image I give the center code, which is just a open bracket, center, close bracket. And you'll notice it automatically gives me this end center. The slash center is the end. And I'm just going to cut that, and I'm going to put that after the image right here. Just paste that. And now when I go back here, I see that my image is nice and centered. So I'm going to delete some of the space here. Let's see. Okay, maybe add a shift, hit a shift enter there. Okay, give a little bit of space. Kind of, this is okay. Maybe I might make these a little closer. They don't look stellar, but you can play around with those. I'm going to link to my email address, so I'm going to highlight email. And if I go to insert, down here is email link. So I just click that, and then I type in my email address, and I'm good to go. Now I'm going to link to my CV. So I'm going to just do another link. So I'm going to go insert hyperlink, and I just click the file here, and it's in miscellaneous, and it's CV. Click OK. Now here it says target. What I do is I want this to open in a new tab. So if I click underscore blank, that's the code for a new tab. So I don't want like the menu items to open in a new tab, but I want this to. So I click OK here, and I am good to go. So just a couple real, I think I'm almost done here. I'm going to give this a background color. So I'm going to give this cell, let's make it like, I don't know, we'll make it like a pink color just to play, okay? So that did both of those cells. So I'm going to select this cell, and I'm going to give it a background color of, we'll just go with white for it. And actually, white is, that's close enough. So now all I'm doing is just kind of having content stand out. It's not really great colors, great design at all. And I'm tweaking some of the stuff I did for the other stuff, for the template. So now I am going to save this real quick. Okay, let me go back to design view. Now what I want to do is I want to create links. So home is index.html. So I'm just going to go down here, and I'm going to type in index.html. And you're getting no target for that. Okay, notice how it turned blue, or that purple color. I'm going to link this one to con.html, even though it doesn't exist yet. It will in a moment. And then I'm going to link this one to pro.html. Okay, and so now I am done. I'm going to save this, file save. So now I'm done. This is page one. Oh, one thing I want to do is notice this unbalanced look here. So what I'm going to do is, I don't know if I like, let me move this over a little bit. You could obviously play around with it and get it looking. This isn't really super centered or anything, but this is something you would play around with. But I do want to center all of this. And so what I do is I select my table and I go to align and center. Now it gives it a balanced look. Instead of it being on the left side, it's in the center. So I'm good to go. I can look at this and it would be fine. But I'm pretty much okay with this. So all I'm going to do now is I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to call this Pro and save it. Here, this is 600 pixels, so I'm just going to go to Image, and my Pro image is this one. Okay. And I'm going to cancel, click on it, and make it 600. And I'm going to, this should change up in a sec. Oh, delete this one. Maybe make it a little bit smaller, but something like that maybe. And then drag the table up and it'll kind of refit itself automatically. When I click on this, I want to say Ruth Bader Ginsburg opinion image. Okay. And I'm going to save this, and I might even go right here. Oh, I didn't do this on this. Let me redo this. So I'm actually going to have to do this a couple times. But what I want to link these Facebook and the LinkedIn. So I'm going to go to Facebook real quick. I'm going to copy the link. Just take this and Control copy it. I don't need the lorem ipsum anymore. And I'm going to go, there's a couple things you can do here with these. One is you can do an image map or a hotspot. So I could actually, if I wanted to make just the circle a link, I could kind of play around with it. Maybe, there we go. Move this over a bit, move this up a bit. And do the same, or I can make the image itself a link. So here for Facebook, I'm just going to go to link here. We're making it, it's called a hotspot, so I just paste that. And we're going to want this to open in a new window, so I go _blank. And then I'm going to go to LinkedIn, and I'm just going to real quickly copy my LinkedIn URL. And just go to here, click on link. I could just go to hyperlink here as well. There's a bunch of different ways of doing it. And this one, again, I want to open in a new _blank, and we're good to go. So you can do that multiple ways. I'm going to actually just copy this real quick and go to my Pro page and highlight this and paste it and see what happens. Okay. Okay. So let's do this. We'll copy this, Control C, Control V, okay. And then we'll go over here, Control C, Control V. All right. And I'm just going, now I'm going to file save this one, file save this one. So Pro's done. And then I might delete this a little bit. Nah, I'm not going to do that. I might undo. Maybe delete this. There we go. Maybe delete one of these links. You want to be consistent with the amount of space. Really a key thing is to just have this kind of idea of cohesion and unity on your page. And then, so let me save that. And now I'm going to go just delete this image, and I'm going to insert another image. And I'm going to call, this is my con image. I'm going to highlight it. Sorry, I'm going to highlight it in the properties window. Let's see what 600 does. Still a little big, so maybe make it 400. Let's try that. Nope. 400 by 400. Okay. Horizontal default. Whoops, sorry, vertical default top. Okay. And I get a little space there. And then we will again go to split, and we will want to find this. So here, and then just copy the in center and move it to here. Whoops. Move it to there we go. And get here, this is the con image infographic. And maybe make it a little bit bigger. Okay, that's good. Maybe a little bit more space there on the bottom, but that's pretty decent. Maybe delete a little bit here. Okay. I'm going to save this one as con file. Save as con. Save. Oh, con.html. Okay, so we're going to make it anti. There we go. So now I gotta, because I changed the name here, I'm going to go ahead real quickly and change this link on all of the pages to anti. That's brilliant. Okay. So save this file, save, go to Pro, just highlight this. So real quickly, I mean, I had to make a quick change, but not a big deal. Didn't take it really more than a couple seconds. And our page is pretty much done. I could go in and add in. I had some ideas to make this, add in some quotes and stuff like that. But for time's sake, I'm not going to do that. But this meets all of the requirements of the assignment. We've done an image map, but we just did general links. We can now. One thing I would say too is like index.html. I don't need this link to be linked because it's linked to itself. So a tool I might use is delete this, maybe make it bold, maybe make it a different color. So go here, maybe make it this green color. So 24 pixels. So I'll just go and change this to a different heading. But I could just delete the link on it and lets people know that it's not linked. You're not linking to yourself is essentially what it is. So I'm going to copy this color here. Actually, I'm just going to delete the link on the other one. So I'm going to file save. Now I'm going to go to Pro. I'm going to go to the Pro page and just remove this link. And save. And it's just letting the user know, okay, hey, you're on that page, so you don't need a link to it. So and then I'm going to go to the con page and just remove the link here. And I am now officially done. So I'm going to go back to design view. So now I'm going to go to my files page here, and you can see hot dog debate. I have my anti, my index, and my pro. And I'm going to make the connection. And let me save anti real quick. If you see the star here, the asterisk, that just means that you've made changes to it and you haven't saved them. So those are now all saved. I'm going to go up to my core, my main root folder here. Now, sometimes if I only work on this page, once I get the initial kind of uploading, I might just upload this, or I might just upload this because that's the only page I worked with. So I'm going to click here, upload. Are you sure you want to push the entire site? Yes. And it's uploading. And I want to show you just a couple things real quick. So as I mentioned last night, but your root folder is always going to be the same. So every single website you send to me is going to start out as rhartshorn.com/spring-2024/ your username. So mine is Poobah, so it's Poobah there. It looks like it's done. Okay. So now from there, it's just going to be each folder here. So here I have hot dog debate, and everything, as I also mentioned last night, is or everything is case sensitive. So mine is lowercase p. Hot dog debate is lowercase, and then I'm just going to do index.html. So I've given it the entire path. So this right here, all this is a URL is just a series of folders. Separated by files until you get to the file separated by slashes, until you get to the file you want. So this right here, this is the computer. On that computer, there's a folder called Spring 2024. On that folder, in that folder, I have folders for all of you and myself. Mine is called Poobah. Inside Poobah is hot dog debate. And then inside hot dog debate is index.html. So when I click on that, I get, is a hot dog a sandwich home? So perfect. So notice how this isn't linked. So if I click on Pro, now notice here, is hot dog a sandwich home? So I need to go into my Pro. Okay, go to page properties real quick. Go to the title and change this to Pro. Click OK. Then go to my con page. So this is just something I forgot to do. So I go to page properties here, go to page title encoding, change this to con. Click OK. Now all I did, so I'm going to make sure I save those. They're both saved. So now all I did was change those two pages. So I can just go to Pro and anti, and then upload those two. It takes 2 seconds. As opposed to if I have a bunch of files and stuff, then it's fine. Then it's going to take longer. So then I hit this, I hit refresh. Now it says, is hot dog a sandwich Pro? Notice now home is linked. I got that rollover effect, so people know it's a link. I could do some more. I could make it underlined or do some other fancy things with that. Then I go to my con. It's con in the properties, or in the tab. I have the lorem ipsum. This is not great design, but you can kind of play around. I'm not going to click on the email link, but if you look down, if I roll over it, notice it turns red. And in the lower left-hand corner of the browser window, you see mail to : and the address. Mail to : is just the code, so super easy. And then you can see here, if I click on Facebook, it opens it in a new tab. If I click on LinkedIn, it opens it in a new tab. That's that _ blank. And then if I click on my CV, it also opens it in a new tab, and that's my non-web internal file. So my CV opens up. It's a PDF. No, it's just going to take a minute. Okay, so that's it. We are done with this site. I would then select any of these, copy the URL, and then I would submit that for the assignment. And that is it. So if you do have questions, feel free to reach out to me. There is no confirmation code. Because I do not have SeaMonkey on my office computer and nobody can install it until Monday, please, I'll link to the video that creates not this exact one, but a similar website using SeaMonkey that you can play around with, and you'll use CyberDuck as the web editor. The only issue is it was created for a different class, so you would just make sure to note that when you're doing your local root folder, make sure you use this term as opposed to the fall 2023 or whatever's used. And that's all for now. We'll get into some more advanced and cooler features next week. CSS is going to be great because here, when I had to change something, like if I decided I don't like this red, I have to go back and change it on all of my pages. Cascading style sheets, I can change it in one spot and it changes it on all of my pages throughout the site. Obviously with 3 pages, it's not a big deal, but if you have multiple If you have hundreds of pages, if you're working for an organization, you have hundreds of pages and they don't like something or want to change or update something, cascading style sheets will allow you to do that in one place and it'll apply it to everything. So questions, reach out to me. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I promise next week's tech issues will be addressed, so we won't have any of those pop up again. Bye.